Peace and love, everybody. Thanks for being here live and watching by recording. You'll notice at the end I have a new alarm sound at 8:30 at the bottom of the hour. So thanks for being here live. As I said, peace and love. Hello, Kendall and Lynn. Thanks for being here this morning. It's really the collective uh, prana together that makes this Sangha function as well as it does. And that includes all the people who watch by recording, because the divine self, the consciousness, the omni mind doesn't need to be concerned about time or space. It's omnipotent and omnipresent. And so even if you join us later, you can participate in the same collective energy as we participate in here. And actually, I was thinking the other day, you probably add to it, even though you watch it afterwards, because of the time space thing. So thanks for contributing. But so today's subject, oh, hey, Judith. Today's subject, how do you know if you've had a samadhi experience? And what is samadhi? So samadhi represents the pinnacle of meditative practice. I'm going to turn myself down a little bit here. Samadhi represents the pinnacle of meditative practice and spiritual realization, where the individual consciousness, you or me, merges with the universal consciousness, the omni mind, the God, the Christ consciousness. It is a state of profound peace, insight, unity, most importantly, unity, offering a glimpse into the ultimate nature of reality with a capital R, that the near death experience community talks about the other side being reality with a capital R. At least there are some of us among it who do. Achieving samadhi is considered the highest goal in various spiritual traditions, marking the culmination of the long path to enlightenment and liberation. Unless it happens to you suddenly by divine grace or an NDE or end of duality psychedelic experience. Those things happen, but even after those things happen, the path continues. It's not an end stop, it's a beginning place. So let's take a look at one example of samadhi. That's Paramahansa Yogananda's description of samadhi. So in his autobiography, Paramahansa Yogananda describes his blissful, I love this word, intimacy with the universe, capital U, that was revealed to him as a boy by his guru, Sri Yukteswar. And this is Shaktipat, or I think is it giving darshan? It's definitely Shaktipat. Anyway, Sri Yukteswar touched Yogananda on his heart, tapped him on the heart, and Yogananda's vision of reality became changed forever, and he became changed forever. This is what he wrote. A little bit of an extended quote to get us where we want to go today. My body became immovably rooted. Soul and mind instantly lost their physical bondage and streamed out like a fluid, piercing light from my every pore. My sense of identity was no longer narrowly confined to my body. The whole vicinity lay bare before me. My ordinary frontal vision was now changed to a vast spherical sight, simultaneously all perceptive, 10,000 eyes. All objects within my panoramic gaze trembled and vibrated like quick motion pictures. Now remember, we wrote this decades and decades and decades ago. Quick motion pictures, those black and white films that flickered. My body, the pillared courtyard, the master's body, the furniture and the floor and the trees and the sunshine occasionally became violently agitated until all melted into a luminescent sea, even as sugar crystals thrown into a glass of water dissolve after being shaken. An oceanic joy broke upon the calm, endless shores of my soul. The Spirit of God, I realized, is exhaustive bliss. His body is countless tissues of light. Pardon the patriarchy there. Remember the time period. His body is countless tissues of light. A swelling glory within me beginning to envelop towns, continents, the earth, the solar and stellar systems, tenuous nebula and floating universes. Universes, plural. The unifying light alternated with materializations of form, the metamorphosis revealing the law of cause and effect in creation, the divine disbursement of rays poured from an eternal source, blazing into galaxies transfigured with ineffable auras. So let's explore the mystical meaning of this Samadhi description by Paramahansa Yogananda. So Yogananda's description of Samadhi captures an example of intense and transformative spiritual experience that transcends ordinary human consciousness, obviously. This mystical state, often described in yogic and Hindu traditions and elsewhere in the world, embodies the ultimate union with the divine, where the boundaries of the self, of the egoic self, of the self identity, of the mind stuff, dissolve into the infinite expanse of the universe. Here are 5 key aspects. Loss of physical boundaries. Yogananda describes his body becoming immovably rooted, indicating that he was having this profound meditative state where his physical sensations and movements ceased, profoundly rooted. And they ceased not only in motion, but to be relevant. His soul and mind streamed out like fluid, piercing light in an out-of-body experience where his consciousness expands beyond physical confines. This represents a first stage of samadhi where the practitioner moves beyond bodily identification and sensory perceptions. 2, an expanded sense of identity. He experiences a shift in his identity, no longer confined to his body or his mind or his self-understanding, but merging with the surrounding environment. This vast spherical sight signifies the omnipresence, the omnipotence, the omniscience of the omni-mind, where he perceives everything simultaneously and without the limitations of ordinary vision. In mystical terms, this indicates an expansion of consciousness to encompass the entirety of existence, a hallmark of unity with the divine. This unity we see across cultures. Teresa of Avila, Meister Eckhart, Rumi, Jesus, and many, many others. 3, a vision of reality as vibratory, you got nice vibes, as vibratory and fluid. Yoga observes objects vibrating. Yogananda observes these objects vibrating and melting into a luminescent sea. In other words, a light of fluidity, likening this in his little talk to sugar crystals dissolving in water. This description aligns with the yogic understanding that the material world itself is composed of vibrating energy at its deep, deep core, below the quantum. And in a state of samadhi, one perceives this underlying unity and fluidity in all forms. This vibratory nature of reality is often associated with the cosmic dance of Shiva in Hinduism, symbolizing the dynamic and ever-changing nature of the universe. 4. Oceanic joy and divine bliss. Yogananda speaks of an oceanic joy. Now, that's a big space. Imagine the Pacific Ocean, an oceanic joy breaking upon his soul, huge waves, identifying this bliss, this oceanic joy as the spirit of God. Not the white-bearded old man, God, but the beloved, ineffable, being indescribable spirit, source. The boundless joy and bliss experienced in samadhi are considered direct because they are, okay? Are considered by others who haven't had them, but definitely by the people who have had them. They are direct encounters with the divine nature of existence. This reflects the ultimate goal of yogic practice. This is why and I don't just mean asanas here. I mean the interior pranayama, primarily type of yogic practice where breath is the most important lead. To realize this inherent bliss and divinity within and around oneself. It does come by grace, that touch of the Sri Yukteswar on Yogananda's heart. But it comes other ways as well. And the meditative path, the yogic path, is an inclined slope toward samadhi. Interconnectedness with all creation, number 5. Yogananda's experience, he experienced a swelling of glory enveloping everything from towns to galaxies. And this underscores the interconnectedness and unity of all creation, micro and macro. This vision reveals the intricate and harmonious relationship between all aspects, the connectedness of all the universe to itself. The divine rays of dispersion, or I flip that around, the divine dispersion of rays from the eternal source, capital E, capital S, I put that in, the eternal source highlights that all forms and phenomena manifest the same underlying reality. I put in the capital letters, and I say so that you know that we're talking about the other sometimes. Because in writing, that's how I write it. This highlights all forms and phenomena manifest the same underlying divine reality. So let's take a second here before we run out of time here. I'm a little bit over this morning. But let's take a quick look at linguistic symbolism and interpretations, transformations, and dissolution. The imagery of objects dissolving in a luminescent sea symbolizes the dissolution of the ego, attachment to the egoic self, and the dissolution of the ego itself, and the individual self identity, and the universe, capital U, self, the universal self with a capital S and a capital U. It represents the transformative power of samadhi, where personal identities and separateness are transcended. Light and divine illumination. Light is a recurring motif in Yogananda's description, symbolizing divine wisdom, clarity, and purity, goodness, wellness, security, bliss. The countless tissues of light and blazing galaxies, they reflect the profound realization of the divine presence in every aspect of existence. ineffable experience. You can't talk about it. You can't really say it. Using terms like ineffable auras and exhaustless bliss conveys the inexpressible nature of the mystical experience at this highest level. Samadhi, it's often described as being beyond the capacity of words and intellect and accessible only through spiritual experience because it is that. It's not rational. It is deeper than that. So, in conclusion, Yogananda's description of samadhi provides us with a vivid and profound account and example of this mystical state where an individual consciousness merges with universal. And that happened to me when I was dead. I didn't make it happen. It just happened. And from this account, it looks like Yogananda didn't really make it happen either. It happened to him, but he was ready for it. It encapsulates the essence of yogic spirituality, emphasizing the dissolution of the ego, the perception of interconnectedness with all things, and the direct experience of divine bliss. This account inspires his account. The account. Yogananda's account inspires spiritual seekers, including me, illustrating the transformative potential of deep meditation and the realization of the ultimate reality with the divine. So now we understand more about samadhi and why meditation and shaktipat matter. I think that there's a thing called collective shaktipat. I started this meditation group with that in mind. Let's see if enough people who gather who have this divine presence with them, when two or more are gathered in presence together, either by recording or live, whether that collected Shaktipat can deepen all of our meditative lives, give us Shakti. I experienced this in other situations in my life. So, more important than understanding is this samadhi, this Shakti connection. So thanks for listening to that this morning. You'll love the new alarm. It's 8:17 my time. I'll say good morning to Tan, Historic Pleasant Grove. Wendy, you're a fan of the flow. Great quote. Thank you. Please share source in comments. I did a web search to find it. And frankly, I typed in Yogananda's famous quotes. I'd have to find where that is. But that's how I find a lot of the quotes. Like, who am I interested in today? So now you peek behind the curtain. You've peeked behind the curtain. And Natasha, blessings on you too. Hey, Sharon and Ottawa. Okay. Oh, Ottawa, right. Canada. Excuse me. All right. So we have a few minutes left. We have 12 minutes. Let's drop into some meditation. I'll lead you in and you're on your own. Meditation is super simple. If you're joining us, chant a word. Follow your breath from your belly to your third eye, grasping nothing. And every time your mind, except for the word and the breath, keep your mind on those two things. Every time something else comes up, let it fly off and come back to your word and your prayer and repeat over and over and over again. If you're really new, on your nose into your belly and back out again. Super simple. Thank you, Ken C, for the super chat gift. In our book study, a friend of a friend requires relief from suffering. Let that be so, as only love can compound and add my desire for the wellness of this friend. Oh, cool. You're praying for somebody. The quote is from the Autobiography of the Yogi. In the chapter on cosmic consciousness, Kendall comes through again. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Kendall. So, Wendy, it is from the Yogananda book, the chapter on cosmic consciousness. Thanks, Kendall. All right. So, my feet are flat on the floor. I'm going to put my hands on my desk today. The same shape, but I'd sometimes like to put them up here. My feet are flat on the floor. My spine is straight. I'm breathing into my belly. Actually, I'm stopping breathing to begin with. I collect myself. I breathe into my belly. Let my lungs fill naturally. Pause. On the exhale, I ride up my spine to the center of my forehead. Pause. Not staring, just being. Inhale. It's all about slow breath control today. Prana follows breath. Prana leads. Peace and blessings on Ken's friend from all of us. Peace and love, everyone. It certainly describes your non-NDE experience very well, Wendy. Yeah, I think so. Peace and love to everyone.